Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all good, and if you're on here then thank you so much for coming to watch. Today's video is a little bit different to my previous couple of videos. I'm not going to be putting any makeup on today. I've already done my makeup. What I'm going to be talking about is everything about brows. So I'm going to talk about a few different things. I've had a few different questions about brows, and a few people asked me to make a video on it on my Instagram. So what I've done is I've split it into different categories. I've just got my wee notes here because in the salon myself and Tamara, and I'm also going to be talking about the kind of products I like to use on my brows. I've already obviously done my brows today, but if you do want me to do like a separate video on a step-by-step on how I do mine, I've kind of shown you in my previous videos, but if you want something a bit more in depth about the different things I do to mine, then I can definitely do that for you. So yeah, treatments, brow shapes, brow products that I like, and also just like a couple little tips, and a couple of those tips are kind of like if you want to like neaten up and tidy your brows during isolation, but I want everybody to be really careful if they do follow any steps that I do talk about, because we all know how important your brows are and we do not want to ruin them. So yeah, I'm just gonna get started by all I've got on this notepad is literally quiz questions and answers from all the pub quizzes I've been doing. So let me find brows. Yeah, here. So firstly I'm going to talk about the treatments that we do in the salon. So I only do a couple of brow treatments. I did my brow training with the Scottish beauty expert in Glasgow. So that must have been about maybe coming up 3-4 years ago. And Tamara, she's done a few different private courses with brows. She does a few more treatments than I do, and she also studied at Reid College in Edinburgh. So firstly this is one of the treatments we do in the salon, which is just your standard wax and tint. So this like a tint, I'm sure we've all had kind of like a brow tint before, so that just adds a little bit of colour into your eyebrows, just kind of following your natural shape. It doesn't make like a huge difference to the shape of your eyebrow. It's only if you want to add like a little bit of colour into your eyebrow to make it look a little bit fuller, and just means you don't have to draw them in every single day. This will start to fade. We should usually say up to 2 to 4 weeks for just a normal eyebrow tint, depending on your skin type. If your skin's a lot oilier, it might not last as long. It just depends basically on you as a person, so it'll last different on everybody. It also depends how often you're washing your face, what products you're using, stuff like that. So this is just like a guideline. It won't be the same for everybody. So yeah, 2 to 4 weeks for a normal tint, and this includes a wax as well. So a wax just tidies up the stray hairs underneath your eyebrow. You can have on top as well if you want. So this just creates kind of like a clean shape, but again following just like the natural shape of your brow. So that's one of just the standard treatments we do in the salon. We also do a treatment called Bella Brows, which adds a few more steps into the process. One of these steps is brow mapping. So brow mapping is where we measure out your brows. So it's just to make sure they start, arch and end where they're meant to. So if you've kind of spent a few years over plucking, or you've had any accidents with your brows, this will help to kind of create that original shape back in, and like the natural shape that it should be. So we use measuring tools and like pencils we'll measure the start of your brow, and then for the arch of your brow we'll go through the pupil of your eye, and that should be like where your arch is. And then for the end of your brow, we come from the corner of the nose like up out to the corner of your eye. So that's a step we add into Bella Brows. And we're both trained in doing eyebrow threading, which we get asked about. Not as much as wax, to be honest. We get waxing a lot more, and we do have thread if people prefer thread. Personally, I prefer waxing on the brows, but I mean everyone's different, so we can add threading into this process if you like. What else is in this step? So we'll kind of trim the brows. There's just a few more steps added into this process. It's not just your standard wax and tint. This is kind of more tailored to what you're looking for. But again, it's just a normal tint that will be used for this process, so it will last like 2 to 4 weeks depending on the person. Again, about brow mapping, what that can help with is, not that everybody like wants to slim their nose and lift their cheekbones, but that's what it's kind of there for. The natural shape will help to kind of complement your face, so it will help to kind of slim your nose and to lift your cheekbones, that kind of effect. On to henna brows. So those last two, they're the ones that I do, they're the ones that I learnt to do at my course. So next we're on to henna brows, and Tamara does this in the salon. So for henna brows, this is to give you like a fuller, thicker kind of look for your brows. It actually tints the skin behind your brows as well as the brow hairs, and it lasts longer on the skin as well. So if you want that kind of bolder, thicker looking brow, then henna brows is definitely for you. So the henna itself, it can last up to 6 weeks, so a bit longer than a natural tint. A bit longer than just like a normal tint. The henna can also last on the skin for up to kind of 2 weeks, again depending on the person and style, what they use on their face, their skin type, stuff like that. So yeah, henna it lasts longer on the brows. It's a different product used. It's like a powder that gets mixed in with like a liquid to create almost like a paste. It's a treatment that's been around for years, but it's become a lot more popular in brows quite recently. So henna brows is great for anybody who's maybe spent years over plucking, they've kind of lost the shape to their brow. This is going to create more of like a definite shape for you and help to fill in any gaps if your eyebrows are quite sparse, or if you've got any gaps in them. It's going to really help to fill them out and create that bolder brow, which is really in at the moment. So brow lamination next. This is another treatment that Tamara does in the salon. This is what you might know as like the fluffy brow look, which is really in at the moment. Everybody's loving the fluffy brow look. So it's almost like if you've had a lash lift before, it's like that, but it's for your brows. So it's a 2-step process. You'll have your eyebrows will be brushed up, they'll be glued into place, a permanent lotion used and a setting lotion, so just like a lash lift. Your brows will also be mapped for this as well, and you can get a tint added on during this process as well. Anyone who likes to brush their brows up and use like brow setting gels to keep them kind of standing up, this is a great treatment if you want to have that like just day to day when you wake up. The thing with this treatment is you need to make sure after that you keep your brows conditioned, because obviously you're putting like lotions and stuff on them, so you just want to make sure that they stay nice and healthy and conditioned. But that's easy to do, and you'll get any aftercare on the day. If you're with myself or Tamara, we will tell you what you need to do to look after the treatment that you've had. Brow lamination can last 4 to 8 weeks, so that's a good length of time, and wouldn't recommend getting it done any more often than that. Like process as well, you can get them trimmed and tidied and tinted, so that's also a really nice brow treatment you can get. So on to microblading. This is a big one. This has become really popular in the last few years, I would say. It has been around for much longer, but yeah, in the past few years it's definitely become more popular. So microblading is like a form of tattooing. So it's a semi-permanent treatment, but the brow, like the tattoo, is applied manually rather than using a machine like a normal tattoo would be done with. The pigment is only implanted into the upper layers of the skin, so this is why it's semi-permanent and it doesn't last forever. It will fade, but if it's looked after well, it can last like 1 to 3 years without needing redone, apart from your top up that you get in between anyway. But yeah, 1 to 3 years, which is really good. Just managing to get if you have like no brows and you have to fill them in every day, this is a great treatment because you can just literally get up and you've got brows. And brows can, they frame your face so much. I cannot express this enough. Like, see if you start filling in your brows or getting treatments on your brows, you will notice a massive difference that just totally kind of lifts your face and frames your face. Microblading, this is something Tamara does in the salon. You can come in for a free brow consultation which lasts like 15 to 20 minutes, and in this Tamara will just sit down with you. You can discuss what you're looking for as an outcome. You can talk about colours, shapes. Tamara will look at your brows, figure out what you want to change about your brows, and just kind of get an idea about the treatment. And when you come in on the day, you will have you will get numbing cream on your eyebrows. So if when you come in, they usually say to come in maybe 10 minutes before your appointment time, just so you can sit with the numbing cream on and let that work in. So by the time you're getting the treatment done, you're basically not going to feel anything. I mean, some people say it's a bit nippy, some people say they don't feel anything. Like, I honestly think it's just down to your personal pain threshold, but it's nothing like to be scared of. It's definitely, even if it is anything, it's just a little bit of a nip. Mapped out for this treatment, obviously, to create like the shape that you're looking for. You can pick a colour of your choice that will complement like your hair colour, your skin tone, whatever you're looking for really. So this is important to mention, that when you get your eyebrows microbladed, for the next couple of days they will continue to get darker. They will look quite dark, but this is not the final colour. So I would definitely recommend, if you're looking to get it done, to get it when you've got no plans for the next couple of days, unless you're not bothered at all about what your brows look like, but they do go quite dark. So that's for like the following 24 to 48 hours after the treatment. And then after this, some people's brows will scab, but that's also nothing to worry about. So you might feel like your brows are scabbing. It's important just not to pick them, because you don't want to affect the treatment. You just need to let it come off itself naturally. And so over the next couple of weeks, you'll notice like the scabbing will come away if you've had scabbing, and your brows will lighten by 40%, so that's quite a bit. And that's not like your final look after your first treatment. Like, you come back for a top up about 6 to 8 weeks after getting the treatment done. So once your brows have totally healed, look at them. If there's any adjustments that need to be made to the colour or the shape, they can be done once the brows are fully healed, and that's more of like your final look. So it is quite a process. There's a few steps to the process, but it's definitely worth it. You just have to know what's coming, and you just need to be a bit patient with them. But I'm actually quite happy with my brows, but I think as I get older I definitely will get it done. Like, if I notice that my brows are becoming sparse or anything, like, it's definitely a treatment I will get done. But for now I just don't want to get it done at this age. I'd rather wait, I think. It's like the most important points of microblading that I've discussed. Obviously this, I'm just giving you kind of like an outline here. Any aftercare or anything Tamara would discuss with you in the salon. So it's important to note though that none of these treatments I'm talking about, they don't require a lot of aftercare. So don't think like it's going to be a massive commitment, because it's not. A lot of them, it's just like little bits of aftercare that are basically just day-to-day kind of stuff. It's nothing major. So that's all the treatments that myself and Tamara do in the salon. Oh my gosh, I can't speak today. Again, that's just like a rough guideline of the treatments. If you've got any questions, please just drop them below or message one of us, and we'll get back to you. I was just kind of covering the basics today, because I've had a few people asking like what kind of treatments. There's obviously so much more you can get now, especially for your brows. So I've had a few people just asking about what kind of treatments are available now. So I mean, there is other brow treatments available. This is just the ones that we do. So next, I was asked, some days, well, I'm sure a few people will be looking to trim their brows at home. So this is something I wanted to go over. And I just want to make sure that you're only doing this if you're really like desperate to do it, if your brows are literally getting out of control, because they go wrong. but if you're really careful, I mean, it'll be absolutely fine. And if you just take your time. So the first thing to do is definitely try and show you. If you've got anything at home, like a wee spoolie like this, just like a clean mascara wand. If not, you can get them on Amazon and they're so cheap. Or like if you've got a makeup brush that's got one on the end. So if you use that and just kind of, I'm just going to try and show you. So if you just like brush your brow hairs right up, and kind of look and see where the longest hairs are, don't just go straight in and like start trimming. Definitely, like, this is something you kind of have to assess first. I'm just gonna find my scissors. So if you have any wee scissors, like makeup scissors, like these ones, these are just the wee MAC ones, or I've got like wee nail scissors as well, like these are perfect for eyelashes and stuff. So if you have any of them, then these are the best ones to use for your eyebrows. I mean, like, try not to go in with your kitchen scissors or something, because it's going to be hard to like take your time with a big pair of chunky scissors. But if that's all you have, then you can use them, but just be really careful and obviously sanitize them before and after. If you've got stuff to sanitize them, or just clean them down. So yeah, you're going to brush your brows up and you're going to assess the situation. You're going to see which brow hairs are like really long, which ones you want to get rid of, and then just take the tiniest bit off. Like, the tiniest bit can make such a difference to your brow, so I can't stress enough, like, just tiny bits. And then brush them back into place, so brush them like back to where they would usually sit and see what they look like, and just repeat this process, like if you think you really need to repeat it. That's how to kind of tidy them up, but as I said, you need to be really careful, because taking the tiniest bit off your brow hair can make a massive difference, and you don't want to end up with like big chunks in your eyebrows, because it takes like 4 to 6 months for your eyebrows to grow back. So just be really careful, but I'm not saying you can't do it at home, just take your time. And then if you're finding that your brows, if you've got naturally curly hair, your brows are more than likely going to have a curl to them. Trimming them will help to reduce that curl, but if they're really not sitting right, then I would definitely recommend like a clear brow gel, just to keep them in place, or even one with colour in it. But if it's just for like day to day, you get so many. I think NYX do one, Makeup Revolution, I know Benefit do one, the 24-hour brow setter, which is probably the best one I've used for a clear one. Like, once you've put your brows into place, they're not moving with the 24-hour brow setter. But if you do want to go for like a cheaper option, like Superdrug and stuff, they do sell them. So just see if you can get your hands on one of them, and that'll keep them in place for you. So on to brow products that I love and that I use. So over the years I've used a range of different brow products. I worked for Benefit and they have got like a brilliant brow range. That was one of my favourite. Sorry. What are you doing? It's Benny. Yeah, Benefit have got a really good brow range. All their brow products are great. So my favourites from Benefit, I use Browsings all the time, so I'll show you Browsings. It's this one here. So the packaging's really nice for Benefit as well, actually. So it's like this, it's a little wax and a powder, and then you get in here, which I've lost, like an extendable brush. So it's got like an angled brush on one end, and then a powder brush on the other end, so it's really good actually. And then it's got your wee mirror, so that's handy. That's really good. You can create a nice natural brow with that product, or you can create quite a full brow. So if you want to do a bit of both, then that's definitely a good product to get. I use number 3, but there is quite a lot of shades, so if you just look online, you should be able to kind of colour match. I love Gimme Brow, which I don't have at the moment, I've ran out. But it's like a little brush for your brows, and it's got little microfibres in it, so it creates a texture to your brows and makes them look like almost 3D, and it's kind of like the clear one I was talking about. but it's just a great one. That's like a very well known brow mascara that everybody loves. It was so popular, it was honestly like, used to sell so many of them a day when I worked at Benefit. Also Precisely My Brow from Benefit is I don't have that either, which isn't much help, but it's a really nice thin eyebrow pencil, and you can oh, I can't remember what you call that when you can like turn it up and turn it down. Oh, I don't know. But it's also got like a spoolie on the other end of it, so it's really good for brushing your brows through and then adding the product and brushing it through. So that's a really nice brow pencil. Also the Foolproof powder I really like for like quite a natural look. I've actually got the Foolproof on my brows today, so I mean these aren't the most natural brows, but you can definitely, like I use quite a bit of the powder. It's on a gradient, so you get your darker shade here and then your lighter shade here, and it just shows you kind of where to stop using the lighter colour and into the darker colour. And you do get a wee brush, which I don't actually use this one. I just like to use my angled brush. You're kind of like a beginner with your brows, this is a really good product to start with because a powder is so easy to correct any mistakes. Like it'll wipe away easily if you do make a mistake, whereas like a wax or like a pomade or something, it's a bit harder to, once it's on, like it's a bit harder to get rid of without ruining the rest of your makeup. Next is also a brand I like for brows. I love their micro brow pencil, which I also don't have, but it's quite similar to the Precisely My Brow Benefit one, but it's a little bit cheaper. It's only like £9 the next one, and it's got the brush on the end as well, so if you're looking for a cheaper option then I would definitely recommend the next one. The NYX Tinted Brow Mascara, I've got that here. The label has kind of rubbed off, but this is the Gimme Brows, a bit like this, but the brush is a lot smaller with Gimme Brows, so that is that there. Don't know if you can actually see that. So yeah, it's just got little fibres in it. Yeah, you get loads of different shades, and I think you get this in clear as well. Styling gel I also love is the Brow Shaping Gel from Milani. It's a Stay Put one, so this is a bit more similar to the Gimme Brow. It's a smaller brush and it's got little fibres in it as well. So if you are looking for a cheaper option from the Benefit one, not that Benefit's really expensive, but this is just a bit more drugstore, you can get this on Beauty Bay, and I think you can get it in Boots now as well. I've only had this for a couple of weeks, but I'm really loving it, and it was only like £10 I think, so they're nice. The brow mascaras are nice to use over a product like a dip brow or a wax or a powder or something, just to add a bit more like a 3D look into your brows. It just makes them appear more real, because sometimes, I mean some people like this, but sometimes your brows can look quite flat if you've used a product like that, but this just brings some life back into them. So finally for brow products, I've probably used this the longest out of any of the brow products. Can I find it? Yeah, it's the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in Dark Brown. So it's just a little pot like this, and this is great. I've had this for years, and it's still got plenty left in it. I mean, you can kind of see the bottom, but I'm talking years I've had this, because you just need tiny amounts at a time. Again, this is a product I would move on to if you've already kind of practiced with your brows and feel a bit more confident, because this, I mean, you can create so many different looks with this kind of product, but you definitely have to practice first. So if you use like a wee bit too much product, this can look too much. But yeah, if you're careful with it and work with the product, you can create so many different eyebrow kind of shapes and styles with this, so it is really good. And once this is on, I mean, you can get it off with makeup remover obviously, but see if you're on a night out or something, it's not going to smudge, it's not going to move, it's great. So, I feel like I'm just speaking a lot today. Nice. Another thing I was going to talk about, I don't know if it's something people were wondering about, but it's different face shapes and different eyebrow shapes. So this is not me saying like if you have this shape of face you need to have this shape of eyebrows. Like, this is just, if I say here that like your face shape and I say the wrong shape of brow that you've got, please don't come off this video and be like, right, I'm away to change the shape of my brows, because that could go terribly wrong. But this is just kind of in general. So for an oval face shape, soft brows with a bit of an angle but quite a shallow like arch to it, that's going to complement your face shape. For a round face like mine, I've not even followed this rule because apparently I'm meant to have like a lifted arch to kind of lengthen my face because it's so round, but I used to have that and I did like that, but now I'm preferring, like, I do have an arch but it's not really lifted. I prefer it to be like a bit shallower, kind of like an oval face, but my face is most definitely round. It's like the moon. If you've got a long face, a flat kind of straight brow is meant to be best for your face shape, because it'll make your face seem a bit shorter than it is. If you've got more of a square, prominent kind of jaw shaped face, a strong brow with quite a defined arch will help to add balance to your face. And then if you've got kind of a heart shaped face, again a high arch is what can suit your face shape best. And if you've got a diamond kind of shaped face, a more rounded soft brow look will help to add like a soft touch and for a narrower look. So that's just kind of like a rough guide, but again, please don't come off this and be like, right, that's it, I'm changing my brow shape, like Indy said, I'm meant to have this shape of brows, so I'm gonna go and shave bits off. Like, please do not do that. It's not like for definite, that's just what I would recommend. But it's honestly so hard to change the shape of your brow like without ruining it. Over the years I've tried to give myself a bit of a straighter brow, and there's been some points where my brows have just looked ridiculous because I've taken chunks off that I shouldn't have. So please just don't do anything too drastic to your brows. Which leads me on to my next point on like keeping your brows tidy and stuff during lockdown. Please don't do anything drastic to your eyebrows. Fair enough, go ahead and like give them a bit of a tidy up, maybe like a tint, as long as you've patch tested yourself first, because honestly a reaction on your face can be like one of the worst things. So definitely patch test yourself first if you're tinting your eyebrows for the first time. Even if you've had them done in a salon, all tints can be different, so if you've got like a different tint that your salon usually uses, then please patch test your brows at least like 48 hours before. Just pop a little bit behind your ear or on your wrist. This is where the skin is quite thin, so if you came into the salon for a patch test, this is where we would do it. People are fine. We don't find that reactions happen a lot, but it's definitely better to be safe than sorry. So yeah, I've been I don't actually have any stuff at home with me, but I have been using, I got this on Amazon. It's not as good as the one we use in the salon. Like, I definitely notice it maybe lasts, maybe not even up to a week to be honest, but when I've been bored I've just been like tidying up my brows and tinting them. So I got this Eyelure tint on Amazon. I used to use this a lot before I worked in like a salon. The one we use lasts much longer, and I can definitely notice like I like the colour and stuff better, but I mean this is fine for now. So all I've been doing to my own brows is tinting them and like tidying them up with tweezers. I don't have a wax pot or anything at home, so I mean I can't do anything like that, and I definitely wouldn't recommend, if you've not waxed your brows before, like don't just buy a wax pot and start waxing places, because honestly with waxing like you need to be really careful. So yeah, I mean, go ahead at home, trim your brows, following the steps I've said earlier. My eyebrows will need done soon, so if you want me to do a video on me tinting and like tidying up my eyebrows, that's something I can do. Again, you'll just need to make sure that you patch test yourself before you follow any steps, because it's like it needs to be done. Oh, also something I wanted to mention was, if you're looking to kind of thicken your brow hairs, you feel like they're quite thin, maybe a bit sparse, there's a few different products that you can use, like probably household products that you might have already, again, I don't want anybody to have any reactions, so if you've not used these products before, like, be really careful. Maybe just put these on their brows and they come out in like a rash or something. But these are just a few products that are known to help thicken your brows and like boost the condition of your brows, like hydrate them and keep them nice and nourished. So you could use castor oil, you could use coconut oil, olive oil, aloe vera gel, or you could use a bit of Vaseline as well. So put a wee bit of this on in the morning if you're not going to put any makeup on, or before you go to bed. Try and do it daily and you should notice a difference in the condition of your brows. They will start, I mean, it might take a wee while, but if you use it religiously, then you will notice a difference eventually. Also, another tip for tweezing your eyebrows, which, like I said, I can show you what I do. But another tip, if you're going to be doing that, is wash your face with hot water or have like a steamy shower or something first, because that opens up the follicle and softens the hair as well, so it removes easier and it's less painful. So that's just a wee tip if you're wanting to tweeze your eyebrows. So I've tried to kind of cover everything that I've been asked by people. If anybody else has any more questions, then please feel free to put a comment below or to just message me on my Instagram or my Facebook or anything. I'll be happy to answer any more questions about brows. But yeah, I've quite enjoyed making this video and taking my notes and stuff on like all things that you can do with your brows and like the products I like and stuff. So if you want me to do another video like this based on something else, then please just let me know. This makeup look that I've got on, I wanted to mention, I did this morning. I've been watching a few different YouTube videos. A lot of people are trying out just using complete matte products on their face, so I've not got any highlighter on, any shimmer products at all. This look is just totally matte. I've not even got a lip gloss on, just like a matte lipstick. So if you want me to do a video on this look, then please let me know, because I quite like it. I've got lashes on, so it's kind of like going out, but on my eyes I've literally just used a bronzer, two bronzers and an eyeshadow, so there's not much involved at all, and you could definitely get away with wearing this on a night out, or some people day to day. So yeah, if you want me to video this look, then I can do that. I hope you've enjoyed this kind of video, and I hope you've learned something from what I've said, and if you're interested in any of these treatments, then please just give the salon or myself a message. Again, if you want me to do a video on how I tint and tidy up my brows during isolation at home, then I can definitely do that, because I'll be doing my brows probably in the next few days, so it's definitely something I could put up. So other than that, I hope you've all had a really nice weekend and enjoyed the nice sunny weather on your daily walks or daily exercise. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!